Hey guys, Bob here, aka Shake and Bake. I've had enough people ask about this drone and this build. The drone is 75 millimeter. It's MadMax. They've asked about this build. They want, I think, some more details, or at least a better video on it. So I'm going to try to do that today. A really close-up, detailed look at what I did to make this drone. And hopefully it's helpful. If you got more questions about it or I missed something, let me know. Let's do it. Here we go. Cheers. Okay, so here is MadMax on the bench. I'm going to try to do this, try to cover everything. This is nothing too complicated, guys. I mean, I'm not a pro builder at all, far from it. So most of you have been out there. Even if you don't know what you're doing, it's not that complicated, okay? So I'll go over what this is. It's a 75 millimeter, I guess basically a toothpick style tiny whoop drone. And we've got 40 millimeter props on it. We've got a 4-in-1 board with the ELRS separate from the board. And where did this board and the ELRS come from? It came off the Air 75. Okay, the Air 75, I don't know why, but I took it off there. I put it on this setup right here. So basically, it's the Air 75, but on this frame, okay? It's the CO3 camera, which I like. Same with the pinch cameras. I like those. This is analog. But here's the thing. You could build this either HD or analog, okay? I mean, hell, the new craze of the 04 Lite, you could do with that too, probably. But it'll hold a 5-in-1 board. It'll hold a 4-in-1 board. It's standard dimensions like you would find on a normal tiny whoop frame, okay? We'll talk about that too. Okay, so let's get in. What's on there? On this build, this is the Flywoo Firefly Nano Baby 1S 1.6-inch V2.0 frame kit. I'll put a link below. It's not an affiliate link, but I'll try to help you guys get to where it's at. And you can pick analog, walk snail, or HD0. So make sure you pick which frame you want based on which board you're going to put on there, okay? It's the True X design, so like a 5-inch drone, but you also can get this in dead cat so that the props in the front are back a little bit if you want that. I think the True X probably flies better than the dead cat. And motors on here are the Flywoo Robo 1002 23,500 kV 1S motors. That's what's on there, and they look actually kind of sick. I love the look of these motors. I think they're awesome looking. For props, we got Gem Fan 1635, three bladed, 40 millimeter props, 1.5 millimeter shaft to fit those motors. Yeah, so that's basically what's on there. Again, it's the Air 75 board, 4-in-1. The ELRS right here is separate. That was on the board. CO3 camera here. The mount, I think I had that sitting around. Any mount you want to put on there, of course, is going to probably work with whatever camera you're using. So let's get into the build. What are some things I had to kind of modify to make this kind of work? The one thing, I'll try to move this around a little bit, guys. I'll zoom in actually right here. Let me zoom in. I'm getting fancy here. You see this right here? Right here. So right here, when you get this board, it does not have, I'm going to put this in front here. It does not have these posts right here. See these posts? Doesn't have it. It has holes in it for screws to go through. That works with their camera mount, but I didn't like their camera mount. So if you want to mount your board on there the traditional way, like on a traditional tiny whoop, you're not going to be able to. So what I did is, you see these posts, this post right here? Hold on, guys. You see this post? I cut these out. So there's a post on top, and then you turn it over. Not this one, but I had the one I had has posts on both sides. Let me look for another frame. Hold on. Okay, so here, right there, that plastic piece, that is what I cut off. So what I cut off one of these spare frames I had that had posts on both sides. I stuck one end through here, through the hole, okay? So right underneath here, right there is a hole. It's through the hole. There's the middle part, and then the other post goes up here, right? So that allows you to put the rubber spacer over that post, and this is wedged in tight. I mean, it's locked in there, right? This goes over the other post, right? And that allows you then like a traditional mount to put your board on here and then a screw through, and it's all good. It's totally locked in there. That was probably more explaining than I had to, but that's how I got that board on there. And you may not have to do that. There are holes in this board. There's just no posts. Be aware of that, okay? Motors mounting, standard, no issue there. I soldered them on. Actually easier than doing this on a normal tiny whoop, because I mean everything's open. There's no prop guards on here, right? And from there, everything else is pretty straightforward. The one thing I did do is I did put a little like tape on that comes with it to tape down the wires. But one thing you got to be mindful of too is where your pigtail is. So the pigtail, if it's a little longer, you got to watch it doesn't go up. You know, if it comes out the top and you plug it into your battery, there's a chance, I did it once, where the prop hit the pigtail. So what I did is I ran it down through this hole, a little electrical tape, and now it's kind of positioned down here, so it's not going to get up near the prop. So that's another thing I did. This frame does come with prop guards if you wanted to mount prop guards on this, but I think that defeats the purpose. I like to fly this. It's an outside drone, I think. It's got a ton of power. You can fly this. It's obviously a 1S. You can 450, 550 battery. You can do analog. You can do HD 0 on this if you wanted. The benefits of this build, I think, for outside flying a tiny whoop is just it flies kind of like, I guess, my 3.5 inch. I mean, it has definitely more authority. This thing, I mean, it rips, man. I mean, it's kind of crazy actually, and it's a ton of fun to fly. If you go analog, it's pretty cheap to do this. We've got some analog stuff sitting around, but MadMax, man, I don't know. I'm digging it. I wish the weather was better. I'd be flying the shit out of this thing, but the weather sucks. So let me flip the camera around. Before I do, let's make sure I got everything. Oh, I'm gonna tell you. So I didn't change the PID tuning on this. It's still basically the PID tuning for the 75, the Air 75 drone. But obviously you could go in and tweak some things if you know what you're doing. I don't, so I didn't mess with it, and it still flies pretty damn good. Okay, guys, so that's in a nutshell. Again, this is MadMax right here, and 75 millimeter Ripper, toothpick style. I love it, man. So I don't know if that was helpful, guys. I tried to get more detail. Maybe it was overkill. It's not that complicated to make, obviously, especially if you've made builds before. But if you got any questions or comments, put them below. Have an awesome day. Cheers, peace, and happy flying.